All right, lads, Japan. Land of the rising sun, home of sushi, bullet trains, and some seriously strict rules. That's right, if you're planning a trip to the land of kawaii culture and vending machines that dispense everything from hot coffee to used pants, you're gonna want to listen up. Today we're diving headfirst into the top 10 rules you absolutely have to know before setting foot in Japan. Whether you're a seasoned Japanophile or a bright-eyed newbie, these tips will ensure a smooth and respectful journey. So grab your matcha latte, get comfortable, and prepare to be schooled on the dos and don'ts of Japanese etiquette. Trust me, knowing these rules will save you from some potentially embarrassing moments and enhance your experience. First up, let's talk about everyone's favorite pastime: smoking. Or rather, not smoking. Japan's taken a hard stance on smoking in public. Gone are the days when you could puff away freely on the streets. Nowadays, you'll find yourself relegated to designated smoking areas, often little glass boxes that look like something out of a dystopian film. These smoking zones are becoming increasingly common, especially around train stations and busy areas. You'll spot them easily, usually crowded with people desperately sucking on their cigarettes like it's the last gasp of oxygen on Earth. And trust me, the looks you'll get if you try lighting up outside these zones are enough to make you want to quit on the spot. Japan's all about that clean, fresh air, and nobody wants to walk through a cloud of second-hand smoke on their way to work. Plus, it helps keep the streets remarkably clean. Many restaurants and bars still have smoking sections, though these are becoming less common. Remember, respect the rules, puff responsibly, and everyone can enjoy the fresh, clean air that Japan is famous for. Let's talk trash, or rather the lack thereof. Japan's obsession with cleanliness is legendary. Littering? It's about as welcome as a fart in a crowded elevator. Walk down any street and you'll be amazed by the pristine sidewalks. It's almost like everyone's walking on eggshells, and there are hardly any public trash cans. You carry your trash until you find a bin, usually near vending machines. Don't even think about littering in Japan. The fines are hefty and the shame unbearable. Remember, cleanliness is next to godliness. All right, let's talk about public transport in Japan, specifically the sacred silence that envelops trains and buses like an invisible force field. Imagine this. You're packed into a train carriage like a sardine in a can, but instead of the usual cacophony of noise, there's a hushed stillness. And people are reading, sleeping, or staring blankly into space, and the only sound you hear is the gentle hum of the train. This, my friends, is the Japanese way. Talking on the phone on public transport is a big no-no. It's considered rude and disruptive to the peace and tranquility of your fellow passengers. And trust me, the Japanese are masters of the side-eye. One look of disapproval and you'll be wishing you'd never even heard of a smartphone. You can still chat with your travel buddies, but keep the volume down to a whisper. Remember, silence is golden, especially on Japanese public transport. Right, listen up, you jaywalking renegades. In Japan, crossing the road is serious business. We're talking military-grade precision, synchronized walking, and a healthy dose of fear for good measure. Forget everything you thought you knew about pedestrian crossings, because in Japan, the rules are different and they are strictly enforced. First off, that little red man at the crosswalk, he's not messing around. When he says stop, you stop. Don't even think about sneaking a quick dash across the road, even if there isn't a car in sight. Japanese police are like hawks, and they will swoop down on you faster than you can say sumimasen. Stick to the designated crosswalks, follow the green man, and for the love of all that is holy, wait your turn. Your life and your clean criminal record will thank you. All right, let's talk about food, because let's face it, that's probably one of the main reasons you're coming to Japan in the first place, right? From sushi and ramen to okonomiyaki and mochi, the culinary delights of Japan are enough to make your taste buds sing. But hold your chopsticks, my friend, because there's one cardinal rule you need to know. Eating while walking is generally frowned upon. Yep, you heard that right. In a country where slurping your noodles is considered a compliment to the chef, walking and chewing at the same time is a big no-no. It's seen as rude, disrespectful, and frankly a bit messy. Think about it, you're walking down the street, munching on a delicious melon pan, and crumbs are flying everywhere. Not a good look, right? Plus, it's distracting. So, what's the solution? Simple. Find a bench, a park, or even just a quiet corner and savor your food like a civilized human being. Your taste buds and the people around you will thank you. All right, folks, let's talk about something a little close to home for me. Tattoos. Now, I'm about as inked as a Yakuza boss's day planner, but even I have to tread carefully in Japan. Tattoos have a complicated history here. For a long time, they were associated with unsavory types. Now, things are changing, especially among the younger generation. But in public baths or onsen, tattoos are still largely a no-go. It's all about respect. Onsen are places of relaxation and purification. So what's an inked-up traveler to do? First, you can try covering up. If your tattoos are small, bandages or makeup might do the trick. Another option is to seek out tattoo-friendly onsen. And finally, you can always opt for a private onsen experience. Remember, it's all about being respectful and understanding of Japanese culture. All right, let's talk about volume control, or as I like to call it, the art of not being that person. You know, the one who talks so loudly on their phone that you can practically recite their grocery list from across the street. Yeah, that person is not welcome in Japan. Look, I get it. You're excited to be in Japan. You want to tell your friends and family back home all about the amazing food, the friendly people, and the toilets that practically give you a spa treatment. But here's the thing. The Japanese value peace and quiet, especially in public places. So what's the magic number on the volume dial? Think whispers, hushed tones, and inside voices. Basically, if it sounds like you're narrating a nature documentary, you're doing it right. All right, let's talk about shoes, or rather, the lack thereof. One of the first things you'll notice when you arrive in Japan is that everyone seems to be walking around in their socks. Don't worry. You haven't stumbled into some bizarre national sock puppet convention. It's just that in Japan, shoes are strictly for outdoor use. When you enter someone's home, a traditional restaurant, a temple, or even some businesses, you'll be expected to remove your shoes. It's all about keeping the inside clean and separating the outside world from the sanctity of the home. Now, before you panic about your smelly socks, fear not. Japanese hospitality extends to footwear as well. You'll usually be provided with a pair of slippers to wear inside. Just slip off your shoes, leave them neatly at the entrance, and step into a world of sock-based comfort. Remember, taking off your shoes is a sign of respect and a way of showing that you value the cleanliness and sanctity of the space you're entering. Right, let's get serious for a minute and talk about something that's non-negotiable: drugs. Japan has a zero-tolerance policy on drugs, and I'm not just talking about the illegal kind. Even some over-the-counter medications that are perfectly legal in other countries could land you in hot water here. We're talking about things like decongestants containing pseudoephedrine, some ADHD medications, and even certain types of painkillers. If you absolutely must travel with medication, make sure you check the regulations beforehand and obtain the necessary import permits. The Japanese authorities take drug offenses very seriously, and the penalties can be severe, including hefty fines and even jail time. Trust me, a Japanese prison is not on your sightseeing itinerary. So do yourself a favor, leave the questionable pharmaceuticals at home. All right, lovebirds, let's talk about PDA, or as I like to call it, public displays of awkwardness. Now, I'm all for a bit of romance, but in Japan, when it comes to public displays of affection, less is definitely more. You see, the Japanese are generally a reserved bunch, and overt displays of affection, especially between couples, are not really the done thing. We're talking hand-holding, kissing, hugging, all the good stuff. While it's not unheard of, especially in big cities like Tokyo, it's not something you'll see very often. Now, this doesn't mean you have to treat your significant other like a stranger in public. A little hand-holding is generally acceptable, but anything beyond that might earn you some uncomfortable stares. So what's the solution? Simple: keep the lovey-dovey stuff for behind closed doors. So there you have it, lads. The top 10 rules you need to know before you embark on your Japanese adventure. Remember, Japan is an amazing country with a rich culture and a fascinating history. By respecting the local customs and traditions, you'll not only avoid any awkward encounters, but also enhance your experience and leave a positive impression on the people you meet. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Everyone does, especially when they're navigating a new culture. The important thing is to learn from them and move on. So pack your bags, brush up on your Japanese phrases, and most importantly, get ready to have an amazing time. Japan awaits. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more travel tips and guides.